You know how Top Gun makes flying fighter jets into battle look like the coolest job in the entire world? Well, Warfare is here to remind you that real military action doesn't always come with a killer soundtrack and aviator sunglasses. Warfare is the latest movie from A24, and it follows a platoon of American Navy SEALs holed up in the home of an Iraqi family, overwatching the movement of US forces through insurgent territory. But unfortunately, things do not go as planned. So this is definitely a movie that caught my interest when I heard that it was coming out. I've been known to enjoy a good war film from time to time, but this one promised to be a completely different beast altogether when it comes to how it was actually structured. It's a movie made to feel like you're experiencing combat in real time, and it's all based on the director's memories during his tenure as a Navy SEAL in the Iraq War. If you're a fan of these kinds of movies already and that concept doesn't pique your interest, I don't know what will. So I walked into this one not totally knowing what to expect after hearing the type of experience they were trying to evoke. And I'm happy to say that even though I don't see myself having the desire to go back for a second helping anytime soon for a couple of reasons, Warfare is probably the most intense movie you're gonna see all year, and it deserves to be witnessed in the loudest theater possible. Now let's start by talking about what really sets this film apart from others within the genre, because the real MVP of this movie absolutely has to be the sound design here. I was lucky enough to watch this film in a Dolby theater, and holy shit, does it really make use of all the bells and whistles at its disposal in a setup like that. It's probably the most impressive and immersive technical aspect of a film that I've witnessed in a little while, if I'm being completely honest. You feel every explosion, every flyby, and every bullet whizzing by these dudes for the entire 90 minutes that this movie goes on. This one specific aspect of the film is so prominent and in your face that it basically turns this whole film into an experience instead of a movie. Because of that, though, this is definitely a one-time watch for me. I just don't see myself ever wanting to throw this on randomly during a rainy day. Not exactly the feel-good movie of the year. It also just relies so heavily on the theatrical experience for you to receive its full impact, and I'll never be able to replicate something like that at home, unless someone wants to give your boy a fat stack of cash, which I am not opposed to, by the way. When it comes to the performances here, this cast is pretty stacked from front to back, with guys you have definitely seen as a memorable side character in one project or another. I mean, we have Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton, and a whole bunch of others that fill out the roster of this big-ass squadron. Everyone here does a solid job of conveying the urgency and chaos surrounding the situation at hand, even though it's a lot of reactionary performances due to the nature of what the film is trying to convey. You're not going to see anyone chewing the fat and reciting 5-minute monologues. You're going to see them applying tourniquets and dodging enemy gunfire coming from all around them. That's not to say that their roles aren't memorable or anything like that, but this obviously just isn't the type of project that actors sign up for expecting to be in the awards conversation later on in the year. You really feel for these dudes after seeing the type of conditions they need to put up with, though. For a long time, I've always thought the movie that depicts the horrors of wartime conditions the most was Platoon. I mean, those guys were covered in mud, up to their knees in water, and getting eaten alive by mosquitoes the entire time they were in Vietnam. But this film might give it a run for its money. You're gonna want to jump through the screen and hand them a massive tube of Neosporin on more than one occasion. I will say, though, this film doesn't really have the traditional pacing of your average run-of-the-mill movie. Since the director duo here, Ray Mendoza and Alex Garland, wanted to give the audience the most authentic perspective into these true events as possible, the film feels like it's playing out in real time the way this group of Navy SEALs actually lived through it back in 2006. Because of that, there's gonna be some spurts of downtime, there's gonna be a boatload of sudden action, and it doesn't really feel like it's structured in the way that a traditional Hollywood version of this project would be. Some will see that as a pro, some will see that as a con, and I think it was the right way to go about conveying what they wanted, but I don't know how effective that decision will be to make people want to watch again. Overall, guys, Warfare is an all-encompassing and terrifying look at the horrors of modern combat. The performances and the sound design work hand in hand to deliver one of the most jarring and immersive theater experiences of the entire year. Due to the way that it's paced out and just how overwhelmingly intense it all is, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna want to revisit this one down the line, but it is definitely a war film worth experiencing in the loudest theater you can find at least once. Warfare gets a Sully score of 3.5 stars. So that's my review for the latest war film. What do you think is your favorite one from the genre within the last 10 years? I'm probably gonna go with Hacksaw Ridge, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.